Almost every single person believes that they truly understand what is required to live a very long and healthy life. We are told that we must eat plenty of green vegetables, we need to remember to take our daily vitamins, and we have to get a good amount of sleep every night. However, what would you think if I told you that the real biological signals that decide your lifespan are not found on a regular checklist? Instead, these signals are actually hiding right in front of your eyes, and they are happening inside your own body at this very second. The majority of us spend far too much time obsessing over the noisy details on the surface. Because of this, we completely fail to hear the quiet biological whispers that truly predict how long we are going to live. Even more importantly, these whispers predict how well we will live during those years. So today, we are going to move past the generic advice you always hear. We are going to uncover 6 specific and vital insights. We are going to count them down one by one, starting from our foundational baseline and climbing all the way up to our number 1, absolute game-changing revelation. You need to make sure you stay with me until the very end of this video. This is because that final revelation, which is insight number 1, is the single most powerful and objective predictor of death that we have ever studied. It is a stronger predictor than smoking cigarettes, it is stronger than having diabetes, and yes, it is even stronger than your own genetics. If you are ready to take back control of your vitality, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join our community of proactive seniors. And I have just a quick and important reminder for you before we begin. All of the information that I am sharing today is for educational purposes only. Everyone has a unique health situation, so please make sure to consult with your doctor or your healthcare provider before you make any big changes to your diet, your exercise routine, or your health regimen. This is especially important if you have pre-existing conditions or if you are currently taking medication. Let us use this knowledge to have smart and informed discussions with them. Now, let us unlock these whispers from the body, and we will start with our 6th vital signal regarding the efficiency of the engine of your body. Insight number 6, the engine idle indicator. We are kicking off our countdown today with something that you can measure right now, even while you are sitting there watching this video. It is arguably the most accessible window into the health of your heart, yet it is often the one that people ignore the most. I am talking about your resting heart rate. Many seniors tend to ignore their heart rate unless they are actively exercising or if they are visiting the doctor's office. We tend to think of it as just background noise. However, your resting heart rate, which is how many times your heart beats when you are doing absolutely nothing, is one of the cleanest windows we have. It allows us to see into your autonomic nervous system and view your overall survival trajectory. To understand why this matters so much, I want you to think of your heart like the engine of a car that is sitting in a driveway. A healthy and efficient engine idles quietly and slowly, perhaps at around 600 RPMs. It is not working hard to stay on, it is relaxed and ready to go. On the other hand, imagine if that car is sitting in the driveway and the engine is revving loudly at 2000 RPMs just to keep from stalling. You would know immediately that something is wrong. That engine is under a lot of stress. It is burning fuel unnecessarily, and it is wearing out the pistons much faster than it should be. Because of this reason, a high resting heart rate, which is generally considered to be consistently above 80 beats per minute, means your heart is essentially revving to high just to keep you alive at a baseline level. It signals that your nervous system is stuck in a chronic mode of fight or flight, or it signals that the heart muscle itself is becoming inefficient. It needs to pump more frequently because each individual pump is too weak to push enough blood through your system. The science regarding this is remarkably consistent. Large-scale mortality studies have shown that people with resting heart rates above 80 have a significantly higher risk of premature death compared to those people sitting comfortably between 50 and 70 beats per minute. This is not simply about the risk of having a heart attack. It actually tracks along with the risk of death from all causes. It reflects systemic inflammation, metabolic stress, and cardiovascular deconditioning. The solution to this is to start tracking it. Check it in the morning before you get out of bed, before you have your coffee, and before the stress of the day begins. If it is consistently high, it is a biological signal that is worth listening to. Regular aerobic exercise and stress management techniques such as breath work act as the mechanic that tunes the engine. This helps in lowering that idle speed and adding years to the life of the motor. Insight number 5, the chassis check strategy. Moving up our list to number 5, we arrive at a functional marker that doctors are increasingly using to predict decline. This marker is walking speed. You might think that how fast you walk is just a matter of how much of a hurry you happen to be in. But have you ever noticed that as people get older, their natural pace often slows down significantly? It happens almost imperceptibly at first. This is not just a quirk of aging, but it is a profound biological statement. The hidden conflict here is that a slowing gait is rarely just about having arthritis or stiff joints. In the medical world, walking speed is quietly used as a massive red flag for overall system failure. The act of walking is actually an incredibly complex task. It requires your heart to pump blood, your lungs to provide oxygen, your muscles to fire, your vision to navigate, and your brain to coordinate balance and speed all at the same time. When you start shuffling or needing more time to cross the street, it is a signal that this coordination is breaking down. To help you visualize this, think of your body like a complex traffic network in a busy city. Walking at a brisk and confident pace is like having all the traffic lights synchronized to green. The cars, which are your muscles, are moving. The fuel, which is the oxygen, is being delivered. And the traffic control center, which is your brain, is managing the flow perfectly. However, when walking speed drops, it is like those traffic lights starting to malfunction or go out of sync. Traffic backs up, the flow becomes erratic. It shows that the infrastructure of the city is failing to handle the demand. Therefore, walking speed is actually a whole-body reporter. Research involving thousands of older adults has shown a stark reality. Those who walk faster, typically above 3 miles per hour or roughly 1 meter per second, have significantly lower mortality risks. It serves as a proxy for your physiological reserve, which is how much gas you have left in the tank to handle stress. Now, regarding this strategy, if you notice you have slowed down, do not panic, but do not ignore it either. It is trainable. However, if you are currently unsteady or have a history of falls, please do not try to speed walk immediately. Start with balance exercises and gentle strengthening first. Safety is the priority here. The best approach is simple but profound. Monitor your pace. If you can walk a measured distance briskly without feeling like you are falling apart, your traffic network is likely in good shape. If not, consider it a dashboard warning light urging you to focus on leg strength and neuromuscular coordination. Insight number 4, the vascular shock absorber. Now we are getting into the territory of things most people have never even heard of. Coming in at number 4 is a small detail of blood pressure that provides a much deeper signal than the standard reading. This is blood pressure variability. The real concern is not just the average number your doctor writes down once a year. It is the chaos that happens in between those readings. You could have a normal average, but if your blood pressure is swinging wildly, meaning it is sky high one day and low the next, or spiking dramatically with minor stress, that is a massive and independent risk factor for stroke and heart disease. Let us use an analogy of a train ride to make this clear. You want your cardiovascular system to be like a train on a smooth and flat track. It should be predictable, steady, and boring. Conversely, high blood pressure variability is like a roller coaster. Those wild ups and downs put immense structural stress on the tracks, which are your arteries, and the passengers, which are your delicate organs like your brain and kidneys. Eventually, the tracks will crack under the strain of those violent shifts, leading to vascular damage. This variability predicts stroke and heart events independently of your average blood pressure level. It tells us that your blood vessels have become stiff and lost their elasticity. They have lost their ability to act as shock absorbers. It also signals that your autonomic nervous system, which is the conductor of the train, is falling asleep at the wheel and not regulating pressure correctly in response to stress. So, do not just settle for a snapshot reading. If you monitor at home, look for stability. Stability is health. Consistency matters. If your numbers are jumping all over the place, that is the shock absorber signal telling you to focus on sleep consistency, stress reduction, and vascular nutrition to smooth out the ride. Insight number 3, the whole body armor secret. Climbing higher on our countdown to number 3, we find something that hides in the palm of your hand. This is grip strength. Most people dismiss grip strength as irrelevant unless they are trying to open a stubborn jar of pickles. What many people do not realize is that weak hands are often a symptom of a much larger and systemic issue. The medical community calls grip strength the Swiss Army knife of neuromuscular health because it is almost never just about the hand. The deeper insight here is that your grip is a proxy for your total body muscle mass and the integrity of your nervous system. You physically cannot have a crushing grip if your overall biology is frail. If you cannot squeeze hard, it often means your body is losing muscle tissue everywhere, from your legs to your core, and that your nervous system is struggling to recruit those muscles efficiently. Imagine your body is a medieval castle. Your muscle mass is the stone wall that protects the castle from invaders like illness, falls, and the stress of recovery from surgery. Thus, your grip strength is essentially a measure of the thickness of that wall. A weak grip signals that the castle walls are crumbling and becoming thin, leaving you vulnerable to attack. A strong grip means the fortress is secure and resilient. Studies tracking hundreds of thousands of people have found that for every decrease in grip strength, the risk of cardiovascular death, heart attack, and even dementia rises. It is startling, but grip strength has been shown to predict mortality better than systolic blood pressure in many clinical contexts. Now, a quick note on safety. If you have arthritis or carpal tunnel syndrome, testing this on a machine might be painful. Listen to your joints. You do not need to crush a rock. You just need to focus on maintaining the strength you have through resistance training. So, what should you do? Test yourself. A simple hand grip dynamometer costs very little. If your numbers are low for your age, it is a call to action to engage in resistance training. This is not just for your hands, but for your whole body. By building the wall, you protect the castle. Insight number 2, the sticky sugar warning. We are now at the second most critical signal. This one is particularly tricky because it is almost entirely silent until the damage is done. We are talking about metabolic regulation, specifically HbA1c and insulin resistance. There is a dangerous misunderstanding that if you are not a diagnosed diabetic, you are fine and your blood sugar does not matter. But the reality is that the damage of metabolic dysfunction starts decades before a diabetes diagnosis. Even levels considered high normal or pre-diabetic are associated with significantly increased cardiovascular risk and accelerated aging. Here is the metaphor to help you visualize why this matters so much. Imagine the inside of your blood vessels is a pristine kitchen pipe system. Glucose or sugar is necessary fuel. But when there is too much of it lingering in the blood because your body is not processing it well, it acts like sticky caramel. This caramelizing effect, which is biologically called glycation, gums up the works. It makes the flexible pipes stiff and brittle, and it clogs up the microscopic filters in your kidneys and eyes. Knowing your HbA1c is critical because this number tells you how much caramel has been coating your cells over the last 3 months. Insulin resistance is the root cause. It means your cells have locked their doors and will not let the fuel in, forcing the pancreas to pump out more and more insulin to knock the doors down. This creates a toxic and inflammatory environment that drives disease. Now, for a safety note. If you decide to change your diet to fix this, such as reducing refined carbohydrates and sugars, be aware that if you are currently on medication for blood sugar, your needs might change rapidly. Always loop your doctor in to monitor your progress safely. Track this number religiously. It is one of the most modifiable markers we have. By eating whole and fiber-rich foods and moving your body, you can clean the pipes and dissolve that sticky sugar, preventing the internal rust that ages you from the inside out. Revelation number 1: the ultimate engine horsepower. And now, we arrive at the summit. This is it. The single objective measurement that outperforms every other physiological longevity marker we have ever studied. Stronger than cholesterol, stronger than blood pressure, stronger than body weight, and yes, stronger than your genetics. Our game-changing revelation number 1 is cardiorespiratory fitness, often clinically measured as VO2 Max. Why is this the holy grail of longevity signals? Let us clear up a misunderstanding immediately. This is not just about being an athlete or running marathons. It is a functional measurement of how well your entire physiology performs under stress. Think of your body as a complete ecosystem. For you to have high cardiorespiratory fitness, your lungs must be excellent at extracting oxygen from the air. Your heart must be a strong pump to deliver that oxygen. Your blood vessels must be clear, open highways, and your muscles must be efficient factories that can use that fuel to create energy. If your fitness is low, it is a systems-level failure. It means one or more of those components is broken or degrading. A landmark study from the Cleveland Clinic followed over 120,000 people and found that low fitness was the deadliest objective condition. It was statistically deadlier than smoking, diabetes, or heart disease. Conversely, there was seemingly no upper limit to the benefit. The fitter you were, the harder you were to kill. Here is the ultimate analogy. Cardiorespiratory fitness represents the horsepower of your life. If you have a tiny and weak engine, which means low fitness, you have to push it to the limit just to get up a small hill, like carrying groceries or walking upstairs. You wear out fast because you are constantly at your limit. If you have a massive and powerful engine, which means high fitness, you can cruise up that hill at idle speed with zero stress. You have reserve capacity. Now, I know what you are thinking. I'm over 60, I cannot train for the Olympics, and here is the beautiful truth: you do not have to. The biggest drop in mortality risk happens just by moving from the low fitness category to the below average or average category. You do not need to be elite, you just need to be moving enough to signal your body to build a bigger engine. If you have been inactive, do not go out and try to sprint up a hill to test your VO2 Max. That is dangerous. Start with zone to training. This is sustained walking, swimming, or cycling where you can still hold a conversation but you are breathing heavier than normal. This specific intensity builds your engine without destroying your chassis. This is the signal that matters most. It is the one that predicts whether you will be independent in your 80s or dependent. It is entirely modifiable. You can build a bigger engine at any age. So, we have traveled a long way today. We started with the engine idle of your heart rate and the chassis check of your walking speed. We looked at the shock absorbers of blood pressure variability and the body armor of grip strength. We examined the sticky sugar risks of HbA1c, and finally, we uncovered the ultimate secret, which is your engine horsepower or cardiorespiratory fitness. Each of these signals tells a story about your future. But unlike a book that is already written, you hold the pen, you can change these numbers. Which of these insights, perhaps it was the foundational check of your walking speed, or maybe the eye-opening reality of cardiorespiratory fitness, resonated with you the most? Which one are you thinking of investigating first? I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts, so please share them in the comments below. If you found this journey through these health discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic group of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.